Then we make sure the truth comes out. When do we resign? Jennifer asked. I'd been thinking about this carefully. We need to coordinate. If we all resign on the same day at the same time, it'll have maximum impact. Derek will lose his mind, Kai said, smiling for the first time in months. That's the point. He thinks we're all replaceable. Let's show him exactly what happens when he loses his entire team at once. We picked a date, 3 weeks from now on a Friday afternoon. PM, I said. We all send our resignation emails within 5 minutes of each other. No explanations, no transitions, just 2 weeks' notice and we're done. What about clients? Tom asked. Some of them depend on us. We'll make sure our work is documented and accessible. We're not trying to hurt Arcadia, we're just removing Derek's safety net. He's been standing on our shoulders for years. It's time he learned to stand on his own. Everyone agreed. 3 weeks until Derek's entire world collapsed. We just had to hold on until then. Derek's fatal mistake. Derek made his announcement on a Tuesday morning. We were all sitting in the conference room for the weekly department meeting. Derek walked in 15 minutes late, as usual, carrying his coffee and his tablet. I have exciting news, he said, not sounding excited at all. We're implementing a new performance ranking system. He pulled up a slide on the screen. Starting next quarter, everyone in operations will be ranked from top to bottom based on performance metrics. The bottom 2 performers each quarter will be transitioned out of the company. I'm calling it Operation Optimization. Room went silent, Sarah's face went pale, Marcus's jaw tightened, Jennifer's hands curled into fists. This is about maintaining excellence, Derek continued. About ensuring we only have 8 players on this team, no dead weight. He looked directly at me when he said dead weight. I know some of you might find this uncomfortable, Derek said, but the reality is no one is irreplaceable. This company needs to remember that. We can't be sentimental about staffing, we have to be strategic. Kai raised his hand. What metrics will you use for ranking? I'll be evaluating based on overall contribution to department success. My judgment as department head. In other words, completely subjective. Based on Derek's opinion, which meant he could eliminate anyone he wanted, Tom spoke up quietly. Will we get to see how we're ranked? That information will remain confidential, but don't worry, if you're doing good work you have nothing to fear. Meeting ended shortly after. Everyone walked out quietly. I caught Sarah's eye across the table. She looked furious. In the hallway, Marcus pulled me aside. That's it, he said. I'm done. He's literally creating a system to fire us at will. I know. When are we resigning? I can't wait 3 more weeks. You can. Because if we leave now, Derek will replace us before we're gone and claim it was all part of his optimization plan. But if we wait until our planned date, he won't have time to recover. The chaos will expose everything. Marcus took a deep breath. You're right, okay, 3 more weeks. That night, I emailed Patricia. Derek just announced he's implementing a ranking system to fire people. My team needs to know their jobs at Meridian are secure. Patricia responded within an hour. Send them all a message from me. Their jobs are 100% secure. We don't play games with people's livelihoods here. We value talent, not fear. I forwarded her message to all 6 team members. Sarah responded immediately. 3 more weeks, we can do this. Marcus, Derek has no idea what's coming. Jennifer, I can't wait to see his face. Countdown continued. Derek thought he was tightening his control. He was actually giving us our final push toward the door. And when we walked out, we'd be walking into something better, something he could never touch. Secret interviews. Patricia worked fast. Over the next 2 weeks, she arranged for all 6 of my team members to have second interviews with Meridian's executive team. These weren't necessary for hiring, they'd already been approved, but Patricia wanted the executives to meet the team I was bringing. I want them to see what I see, she told me. Talent that's been suppressed and is about to bloom. Sarah went first. She met with the VP of Client Relations and came back glowing. They listened to me, Melissa, actually listened. I suggested improvements to their onboarding system and they wrote everything down. At Arcadia, Derek talks over me in every meeting. Marcus interviewed with the operations director. They asked about my project management approach. I explained the system I built, the one Derek takes credit for, and they were impressed. They want me to implement it across their entire division. Jennifer met with the quality assurance team. They showed me their current systems and asked for my input. I gave them 3 suggestions in the meeting. They're already talking about implementing them. Kai, Leticia, and Tom had similar experiences. Real conversations, real respect, real interest in their actual skills. After Tom's final interview, Patricia called me. Melissa, I don't know what Derek was thinking, but these people are incredible. Every single one of them brought insights we hadn't considered. You didn't just build a team at Arcadia, you built a powerhouse that was being wasted. They deserve better, I said simply, and they're going to get it. I'm giving them all signing bonuses, $5,000 each. They've earned it. Nearly dropped my phone. Patricia, you don't have to. Yes, I do. Good talent is rare. When you find it, you reward it. That's how you build loyalty. Derek never learned that lesson. His loss, our gain. Signing bonuses were deposited into their personal accounts 2 days later. All 6 of them texted me the same thing. Variations of "this is real. This is really happening." 1 week left until resignation day. We met one final time in the parking garage to coordinate our timing. 4:45 p.m. next Friday, I confirmed. Emails go out simultaneously, then we leave immediately. Don't pack your desks beforehand, Derek might notice. Just grab your personal items and go. What if he tries to stop us? Jennifer asked. He can't. We're giving proper 2 weeks notice. It's all legal. He has no leverage. What about the documentation? Sarah asked. When do we release it? Not yet. First, we let him struggle through 2 weeks without us. Then, on my very last day, I'm delivering everything to HR. And the CEO, by then it'll be too late for him to retaliate. This is really happening, Tom said quietly. Yes, I said. Derek thought we were replaceable. He's about to learn what it's like when you actually try to replace 7 people at once. We all smiled. 1 more week of pretending everything was normal. 1 more week of watching Derek take credit for our work. 1 more week of his smug confidence, then everything would change. The resignation letter. I wrote my resignation letter on Thursday night. I rewrote it 17 times. Every version was too angry, too detailed, too emotional. Finally, I stripped it down to the basics. Dear Derek and Arcadia Solutions Leadership, I am resigning from my position as Senior Operations Manager effective Friday, October 3rd. My last day will be Friday, October 17th, 2 weeks from the date of this letter. Thank you for the opportunity. Melissa Chen, Professional. Brief. No explanations, no emotion at all. I saved 6 copies, 1 for Derek, 1 for HR, 1 for the CEO, 1 for my personal records and 2 backups. I set it to send automatically at 4:45 p.m. on Friday. Then I helped Sarah, Marcus, Jennifer, Kai, Leticia and Tom write theirs, all identical in format. All scheduled for the same time. 7 resignation emails queued and ready. Friday morning I woke up at 5 a.m. too anxious to sleep. This was it. I got to the office at 8 a.m. like normal. Said good morning to everyone like normal. Made coffee, answered emails, handled client calls. Everything seemed completely normal. At lunch I made sure to eat. My hands were shaking too much for anything complicated, so I just had a sandwich at my desk. Sarah walked past and gave me the tiniest nod. Marcus caught my eye from across the room and smiled. We were all thinking the same thing. Hours crawled by 2 p.m. Still 3 hours to go. 3 p.m. Derek wandered through the department, commenting on everyone's work. He stopped at my desk. Melissa, good job on the Henderson account. Keep up the solid coordinator work. I smiled. Thank you, Derek. He had no idea. 4 p.m. 45 minutes left. I started closing unnecessary tabs on my computer, saving final files, making sure my personal items were ready to grab quickly. 4:30 p.m. 15 minutes. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it. Sarah, Marcus, Jennifer, Kai, Leticia and Tom were all at their desks pretending to work. 4:40 p.m. 5 minutes. I refreshed my email one last time. Checked that the scheduled send was still set. It was 4:45 p.m. I pressed send manually, not trusting the automatic schedule. Within 60 seconds my phone buzzed 6 times, 6 text messages, all saying the same thing. Sent. 7 resignation emails hit Derek's inbox within 3 minutes. His office door was open. I could see him at his desk. I watched him check his email. His face went white, then red, then he stood up so fast his chair rolled backward into the wall. Stormed out of his office, looking at the department floor. Every single operations team member's desk was empty. Sarah had left through the side exit. Marcus and Tom had gone down the back stairs. Jennifer, Kai and Leticia had taken the elevator. I was the only one still there, calmly putting my laptop into my bag. Derek's eyes found me. Melissa, what is this? I looked up at him, perfectly calm. What is what? Everyone just resigned, your entire team, all at once. I just sent my resignation too. I guess everyone had the same idea. His face was turning purple. You coordinated this, you organized this. I resigned from my position, Derek, that's all. What other people choose to do with their careers isn't my responsibility. This is sabotage. No, this is 7 people exercising their legal right to leave a job. We're all giving proper 2 weeks' notice. Everything is completely professional. Other people were starting to appear in doorways, hearing Derek's raised voice. You can't do this, Derek said, his voice shaking. I already did. We all did. You'll have our full cooperation during the transition period, as outlined in our resignation letters. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going home for the weekend. I picked up my bag and walked toward the elevator. Derek stood frozen in the middle of the floor, his hands clenched into fists. As I stepped into the elevator, I turned back and looked at him one last time. You said I was replaceable, Derek. I guess you're about to find out if that's true. Elevator doors closed on his shocked face. In the parking garage, all 6 of my team members were waiting by their cars. When they saw me, they started clapping. Sarah was crying, but she was smiling. We did it. Did it, I confirmed. Marcus laughed loud and free. Did you see his face? Oh my God, did you see his face? I wish I'd taken a picture, Jennifer said. More weeks, I reminded them. We show up, we do our jobs professionally, and we don't engage with Derek's drama. We're the bigger people here. Weeks, they all agreed. We went home that night knowing that Derek's weekend was going to be a nightmare, and ours were going to be wonderful. The cascade, my phone started buzzing at 6 p.m. Derek calling. I declined the call. He called again. Declined, text message, we need to talk immediately. I didn't respond. Another call, another decline. Then my phone rang from a different number, the CEO's direct line. I answered that one. Melissa, this is Richard Thornton. I just heard about the resignations. Can you help me understand what happened? Of course, Mr. Thornton. 7 members of the operations department have decided to pursue other opportunities. We've all submitted proper 2 weeks' notice. All at once, that's unusual. Suppose it is, but everyone has their own reasons for leaving. Derek says you organized this as some kind of protest. I resigned from my position, Mr. Thornton. I can't speak to anyone else's motivations. We each made our own choice. There was a long pause. Will you be available during your notice period to help with transition? I'll fulfill my professional obligations, yes. Thank you, Melissa. I'd like to meet with you next week. Would Tuesday work? Tuesday is fine. He hung up. 2 minutes later, Derek called again. This time I answered. Derek, you need to rescind your resignation, all of you. Whatever point you're trying to make, you've made it. Now stop this before it gets worse. I'm not rescinding anything. I have a new job. So does everyone else. Silence. You already have new jobs, all of you. Yes, where? That's not your concern. Melissa, you can't do this. The department will collapse. Then maybe you should have thought about that before you called us all replaceable. I never. You said it in the board meeting, Derek. You said I was functionally replaceable, that my contributions were easily duplicated. You said anyone could do what I do. Remember? More silence. Doing this because of one comment? No, I'm doing this because of 2 years of stolen credit. Dismissive treatment, and realizing that my work was never going to be valued here. The comment just made me see clearly. Match whatever they're paying you, all of you, just stay. This isn't about money, Derek, though for the record you couldn't match these offers even if you tried. This is about respect, something you never showed any of us. Melissa, I hung up, then I turned off my phone for the rest of the weekend. On Monday morning I turned it back on to find 47 missed calls and dozens of text messages, most from Derek, some from HR, a few from other co-workers asking what was happening. I ignored Derek's messages entirely. I responded to HR. I'm available to discuss transition plans during business hours. Then I got dressed and went to work for the most interesting 2 weeks of my career. The emergency meeting. When I arrived Monday morning, the entire executive team was in the main conference room. Through the glass walls, I could see Derek gesturing frantically while Richard Thornton, the CEO, sat with his arms crossed. Gloria Martinez from HR was taking notes. The CFO and COO were both there too. Derek looked like he hadn't slept. Good. I went to my desk and started working on my transition documentation. I wasn't going to make this easy, but I wasn't going to be unprofessional either. At 10 a.m., Gloria came to my desk. Melissa, can you join us in conference room A? Of course. I walked in with my head high. Derek wouldn't look at me. Richard gestured to an empty chair. Melissa, thank you for joining us. We're trying to understand the situation with your department. Derek says this resignation was coordinated. Is that accurate? We all resigned on the same day, if that's what you mean. Why? I looked at Derek, then back at Richard. With respect, Mr. Thornton, my reasons for leaving are my own. I'm happy to discuss transition plans, but I don't think discussing my personal career decisions in front of the entire executive team is appropriate. Richard nodded slowly. Fair enough. Derek, can you give us a moment alone with Melissa? Derek's jaw dropped. What? Why? Please step outside. Derek looked like he wanted to argue, but he stood up and left, closing the door harder than necessary. Once he was gone, Richard leaned forward. Melissa, off the record, what happened? I took a breath. Mr. Thornton, I've worked here for 2 years. In that time, I built most of the systems that keep this department running. I saved the company $2.3 million with my client retention strategy. I created efficiency protocols that cut processing time by 40%. I developed quality controls that reduced errors by 65%. I'm aware of your contributions. Because in every report, every presentation, every board meeting, Derek took credit for all of it. My work became his accomplishments, my innovations became his strategic vision. Gloria was writing quickly. Richard's expression darkened. Can you prove this? Yes, I have documentation of everything, but that's not why I'm leaving. I'm leaving because Derek told me to my face that I was replaceable, that my work wasn't rare, that anyone could do what I do, and I realized he was right about one thing: I could definitely be replaced here, but I could also find somewhere that actually valued my work. The others had their own reasons, you'd have to ask them. But if I had to guess, I'd say they were tired of working in an environment where their contributions were dismissed and their boss took credit for everything they built. Richard and Gloria exchanged looks. What's your transition plan? Richard asked. I'm documenting every system I built, creating manuals, organizing files. When I leave, everything will be accessible. I'm not trying to sabotage anything. I'm just not staying where I'm not valued. Derek says you're all going to a competitor. Pursuing other opportunities, that's all I can say. Richard stood. Thank you for your honesty, Melissa. I'd like to schedule another meeting with you before you leave, just you and me. Would that be acceptable? Of course. I walked out of that conference room knowing I'd planted seeds of doubt. Derek was waiting in the hallway, his face angry. What did you tell them? The truth, I said simply and walked past him. Behind me, I heard Gloria call Derek back into the conference room. I smiled. The investigation was beginning. The 2-week hell, Derek tried to keep the department running, and it was beautiful to watch him fail. On Tuesday, a client called with a complex billing question. The kind I used to handle in 5 minutes. Derek spent 2 hours on the phone and still couldn't solve it. Finally, he came to my desk. Melissa, can you help with the Parkridge account? I'm focusing on my transition documentation right now, Derek. But if you check the system manual in the shared drive, Section 7 covers billing discrepancies. I don't have time to read a manual. Then I guess you'll need to figure it out another way. I'm not available. His face turned red, but he walked away. Wednesday, Sarah's replacement started. A young woman named Amy who seemed eager but had no experience with our systems. Derek spent 3 hours trying to explain Sarah's role. He got half of it wrong. I watched Sarah, who was still working her notice period, politely correct him twice before giving up. Figure it out, Sarah told Amy quietly. Good luck. Thursday, Marcus's main client asked for him specifically. Derek tried to take the call. Hi, this is Derek Vaughan. I manage the operations team. I asked for Marcus. Marcus is transitioning out of the company. I can help you with. No, I need Marcus. He's the only one who understands our account. Derek had to transfer the call to Marcus, who handled it perfectly in 10 minutes. After the call, I heard the client tell Marcus, we're really going to miss you. Are you sure you can't stay? I'm very sure, Marcus said. But thank you. By Friday of the first week, Derek looked exhausted. Reports that used to be filed automatically weren't getting done because no one else knew the systems. Client complaints were stacking up because Derek couldn't handle them as fast as we used to. The efficiency protocols started breaking down because Derek didn't understand how they worked. And every time he asked one of us for help, we were polite, professional, and completely unhelpful. I'm focused on my transition documentation. You should check the manual. Don't have capacity for that right now. We were all doing exactly what he'd always said we did. Basic, replaceable, coordinator work. Turns out when you remove the basics, everything collapses. The second week was worse. Sarah, Marcus, and Jennifer's last day was Wednesday. They left at 5 p.m. exactly after completing their transition documentation. Derek watched them walk out with panic in his eyes. Who's going to handle the Westfield account? He asked me desperately. I don't know, Derek, but I'm sure you'll figure it out. After all, we're all easily replaceable, right? Thursday morning, Derek had brought in 3 temp workers to try to fill the gaps. None of them lasted past lunch. These systems are too complicated. One of them complained. There's no clear documentation. Another said, why is everything labeled in code? The third asked, I could have explained that I'd created a numbering system that made sense once you understood it and that there was a key document explaining everything. But I didn't. Friday was my last day. Kai, Leticia, and Tom's last day too. We all finished our transition documents, saved everything to the shared drive, and prepared to leave. Derek didn't even try to stop us. He just sat in his office, staring at his computer screen, looking completely lost. At 4 p.m. I had one final task to complete. I walked to HR with a USB drive in my hand. It was time to deliver the truth. The reveal to HR, Gloria Martinez, was in her office when I knocked. Melissa, come in. Is this about your exit interview? Partially, but I have something else I need to give you. I handed her the USB drive. What's this? Documentation. 2 years of records showing discrepancies between Derek's reports and actual department performance. Evidence of credit misattribution. Financial irregularities in his quarterly reports. And statements from all 6 departing team members about the work environment. Gloria's professional expression cracked. Melissa, I'm not doing this out of spite. I'm doing this because what Derek has been doing is wrong and someone needs to know. I've already left. I have nothing to gain from this, but the people who come after me deserve better. Gloria plugged in the USB drive. I watched her face change as she started opening files. This is extensive and thorough. So was everyone else on the team. We all kept records. She opened Derek's quarterly report from last year, then opened our actual performance data next to it. The numbers didn't match. He's been inflating revenue by 15%, I said quietly. Hiding client complaints, reporting a fake employee to claim extra salary, and taking credit for work he didn't do. Gloria's hands were shaking. Why didn't you report this earlier? Because I didn't trust that anything would happen. Derek is good at managing up. He makes executives love him. If I'd reported this while I was still here, he would have destroyed my credibility and maybe my career. But now I have nothing to lose. The others, they agreed to this. They contributed. Everyone on that drive wanted the truth to come out. Gloria closed her laptop and looked at me. Melissa, I need to ask you something honestly. Is any of this fabricated? No, every document is real. Every email is in our company system. You can verify it yourself. Every number can be cross-checked with actual client data. I'm not lying, I'm just showing you what's been hidden. She nodded slowly. This is going to trigger an investigation. Good, it should. Derek will lose his job. If he's been committing fraud, he should lose his job. Gloria stood up and held out her hand. Thank you for bringing this forward. I know it wasn't easy. We shook hands. It was actually very easy, I said. The hard part was watching him get away with it for 2 years. I walked out of HR for the last time. Back at my desk, Kai, Leticia and Tom were waiting. Did you do it? Kai asked. I did it. How long until they investigate? Knowing Gloria, probably starting tomorrow. Tom smiled. Derek's going to have a very bad Monday. He is. We packed our final personal items, said goodbye to the few remaining co-workers and walked out together. In the parking lot, Sarah, Marcus and Jennifer were waiting for us. They'd come back to say goodbye properly. Does it feel? Sarah asked. I looked back at the Arcadia building. 3 years of my life in there, 2 years of stolen credit, 2 weeks of watching Derek scramble. It feels like freedom, I said. We all went to dinner to celebrate, not revenge, not Derek's downfall, just celebrating ourselves and the fact that we'd all found something better. Monday morning I would start at Meridian as a VP, but tonight, I was just someone who'd finally learned her worth and refused to settle for less. The investigation begins. I didn't go to Arcadia on Monday. I went to Meridian Industries instead, but Marcus texted me at 9 a.m. Derek's office is empty. Security walked him out 10 minutes ago. Then Sarah, emergency meeting called. Everyone looks serious. Then Jennifer, I heard investigation mentioned 3 times already. I didn't respond to any of them. We'd left Arcadia behind. This wasn't our problem anymore, but I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious. That afternoon, I got an email from Gloria Martinez. Melissa, the company has initiated a formal investigation into Derek Vaughan's conduct and the financial discrepancies you reported. He has been placed on administrative leave pending the outcome. I want to thank you again for bringing this forward. If you're willing, we may need to speak with you as part of the investigation process. Please let me know if you're available. I forwarded the email to Patricia. Should I cooperate with their investigation? Patricia responded immediately. Only if you're comfortable. You don't work there anymore, but if you do choose to help, I'll make sure our legal team supports you. I thought about it for a while, then I emailed Gloria back. I'm willing to answer questions if needed. Please coordinate through Meridian's legal department going forward. Professional, boundaried, but cooperative. Over the next week I focused on my new job. Patricia introduced me to the entire operations division. I met with my new team, the 6 people I'd brought with me plus 12 others who'd been at Meridian for years. This is Melissa Chen, our new VP of Strategic Operations, Patricia announced at the division meeting. She's going to help us build something incredible. Everyone clapped. I looked at Sarah, Marcus, Jennifer, Kai, Leticia and Tom sitting in the front row. They were smiling. For the first time in years, I felt like I was exactly where I belonged. Meanwhile, back at Arcadia, the investigation was moving fast. I heard through the grapevine that the audit team had found everything. The inflated numbers, the fake employee, the hidden client complaints, all of it.